Hello, beautiful ladies. Kara McCoy here. Welcome to our Warrior Woman podcast for today. And today I want to talk about contest prep. So the last 4 or 5 years, it's really come to fruition, this whole thing around, should I do a contest to get in shape? Or this thinking of, I'll do a contest to get in shape. And here's what I would say about this. That comes with a whole slew of things that you need to be careful with. First of all, I would never do a show to get in shape because you're in shape for about 5 minutes when you're on stage. As soon as you step off stage, you start going out of shape again. Now, that doesn't mean we lose our gains because those of us that have been training for a long time, we know how to move in and out of shows and we learn how to work it. But the challenge is when women who have not been in the field for a long time, with all of the social media stuff going around, they're looking at all of these fantastic looking bods out there, all these women strutting on stage, and they're looking fantastic. But it is a very, very tough sport. And the challenge is if you have not been lifting for a long time, if you've not been managing your metabolism so it's strong, and if you don't have a good relationship with food, if you don't have a good relationship with your body, if there's parts of it that you just loathe, or even if there's some body dysmorphia, what's going to happen is it's going to enhance those things. So you really have to set the stage before you go onto stage. You have to set your body, your mindset, your food plan, your metabolism up for success before you get on stage. And so, because if you don't, what happens is a lot of women can lose 10, 20, 30 pounds in 6 or 9 months and step up on stage. But in a body that's not used to the momentum of going in and out of show properly, and without proper strong coaching to do it in a way that's going to allow you to do it right, what happens is your body's going to rebel. And so your body is going to, yes, lose the weight, but you might lose some muscle along with fat. Some girls go up on stage and they look quite flat. They look drawn, if you want to put it that way. And that's just because they've done it too fast, too soon. So there is a way to do it, even if you're a beginner or you're newbie to the sport of competing, that you need to do it slower is better. Slower is always better in all things, right? Unless you want to make money, and then you can do it faster. It's okay. So the challenge with the metabolism, especially what's happening in women our age, so 40, 50, 60 plus, there's a lot of us now coming in going, yeah, I want to do this for a bucket list. I want to do it for a photo shoot after for my hubby or whatever it happens to be, or I'm going on vacation, whatever it happens to be, which is great. But the offset of that is you may challenge your metabolism where it may rebound. And what that means is if you're not used to the diet world, if you're not, and I'm talking proper dieting, not the crazy diets that are out there. If you're doing low carb, you're doing keto, you're doing all this other stuff, then it's not really supportive of maintaining a diet strategy or a food strategy to allow you to live and compete like an athlete on stage. So it's very, very different. So we've got mainstream over here, and then we've got competitors who've been doing it for a long time over here, and they're very different, very, very different camps. And so if you're going to go into it, decide if you want to just do a one-off. And if you do, I would recommend starting 6 to 9 months out, finding a good coach. And you have to decide how you want to go through it. There's some shows that are drug tested, other shows that aren't, and everybody can make their own decision around that. You make the decision though. Don't let your coach make the decision for you. Okay. It's important that you decide how you want to go through a show. What's important to you? What experience do you want? And honestly, if it's just to go up on stage and get a trophy, then own it. Then that's okay too. But if it's to have longevity in the game and maintain a strong, shapely body as you age, then that's a whole other ball of wax. Because what I've seen in doing this for so many years is that there are so many women that do a show or maybe even two, but the rebound effect is drastic. And it does something to the mindset as well. Like you kind of go crazy in your head because you've worked for 9 months to take the weight off, and within a month you can put it back on unless you do it properly. So tuning up your body and getting stuff in order, getting back into homeostasis, which is balance, getting your biochemistry strong, your metabolism strong, your relationship with food strong, all of that stuff. If you can get that going for a few years before you step on stage, you're going to have an easier go of it. Your body's going to respond and comply easier, which is what you want, because when you're forcing it, it's going to rebel. When you push it just gently, you can coax it into responding. So there's a big difference between the two. They're very different worlds. And standing on stage is amazing. And the whole thing of going through competitions, I've done 7 myself. It was the best learning for me. The first 2 or 3, I kind of messed it up because this was back in the 90s and early 2000s, and there weren't a lot of coaches around. Certainly was no social media, so I kind of did it myself. And I rebounded the first 2 shows. I think I gained 10 pounds in a week, and then I gained 25 pounds back in 6 weeks. Boom, just like that, because I didn't really know what I was doing. So the longer you're in the game, and if you decide that you want to go beyond the bucket lists and you want to continue with it, you will continue to learn and grow, but you have to manage your body well and properly and dutifully and with a lot of respect instead of push, 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 because there's a lot of competitors that push and grind and white knuckle it. And then afterwards they just, because it's a big deal, guys. It's a lot of work. And then all of a sudden they fall away and they'll gain all the weight back. They'll have some self-loathing. And then they'll say, oh, I just don't want to live like this. I want to get my body back. So what do? They choose another show to get the body back, which is not the best way to do it. You actually have to get into proper training and movement, hydration and sleep in order to get your body back. A show is just repeating the same damage that you did the first time round. So you have to be really careful on your strategy, on your expectations, and on what you really, really want. And then you have to choose somebody who's going to lead you through it. And find somebody who's certified, find somebody who has done shows, but also trains competitors. Because what we often see is somebody who has done a show or 2 and they're now a coach, right? Coaching is a certification. It is a dedication. It's an art form, and it takes years of practice, strong understanding in psychology and mindset. That's the biggest piece. The body is important because you want to bring the best body to the stage, but the mindset runs the show. That's why 80% of everything I do is mindset, guys. Whether a woman just wants to, get ready for a beach body on her holiday to Jamaica, or whether she wants to go into show. By the way, I don't do competitors anymore. I don't do shows. I don't teach competitors anymore. I'm retired from that. And it's really important that you also understand your own expectations. What do you want? If you just want to do it once, do it slow, do it right. If you want to do it more, then have a game plan. And the longer you're with the coach, they come to know your body. They come to know your biochemistry, your metabolism, your genetics, your preferences, your sticking points, your limitations in your body and in your brain. And it's really important. And a lot of times we'll see competitors jump back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, blaming the coach, or thinking if they can get a high-level coach that they pay a lot of money to, they're going to get a better body. But the body is only going to be as good as the body can move along the continuum of getting better over the years. So I trained for 7 years before I went into my first show because I really wanted to be ready, and I'm a hard gainer, and I had to work it hard. And I wanted to make sure that when I went up on stage that I was confident in the work that I did. And I just didn't feel confident after a couple of years of lifting. Some of you guys might, and that's fantastic. And if that's you, hats off to you, and you go shake it up, because that's it's a great thing. So just manage your expectations, consider where you want to be, but also consider that when you step off the stage, you're not going to stay in stage ready. It doesn't work. And it's too hard on the body because it's unusual and it's difficult to maintain 12 to 15% body fat, which is where most competitors, female competitors, are at. that are natural. And of course, the ones who are using, they can get lower body fat, of course. Um, but it's pretty tough on the body to be able to get to that place. And you don't want to stay there because it's not natural to be that low in body fat. So just choose your path, choose your coach, manage your expectations, and have fun. Enjoy. Being on stage is amazing. It's rocking. I love it. And it is, like I always say, everything I learned about in life, I learned in competition and in training in the gym for the last few decades. Because you have to bring all of that into your performance. It has to be the values that you have to bring with you, more so than the body. The values that you're going to be working on, the invisible muscles that you're going to be working on, they're just as important, guys, if not more, because they'll get you on stage, but they'll make you a true athlete. I was always in it for the performance, for the athletics in it. I was never in it for the show. The show was just the icing on the cake. The cake itself for me is being able to train and perform and recover and be healthy and stay lean at my age. And that has been my path. That's my choice of how I choose to move forward in this lifestyle of mine. And yours might be different. It might be just to get on stage, do a show, get some great pics, and that's okay too. But just manage your expectations as well. And here's the other deal. Every woman who's training and wanting to compete, we all want to come in top 3. We all want to do. But there's a winner in every woman that steps on stage, because it is a tough sport. The pre-contest is tough. Like I always say, that's what separates the women from the girls, truly. And you have to manage your mindset. You have to try to stay level emotionally. You have to manage your family. You have to compromise extremely deeply in the last 6 to 8 weeks before show. And it's tough on everybody around you. It's a very tough sport. I really don't know of any other sport where you have to train your butt off, not literally, and cut down your food at the same time and try to stay energized and strong and look good for stepping on stage. There might be some of that where you have to make weight class, like in wrestling or whatever, but it's not as drastic. And you're burning the candle at both ends. You are cutting and managing and tightening your food like never before. And you're training your butt off at the other end and trying to keep your energy up and your sleep and your emotions, all that kind of stuff. And in my day, we didn't do low carb. That was the worst thing we could have done. And I had a couple great coaches who mentored me along the way, but it just didn't make sense to me to cut carbs. And so that's another thing we can talk about in another day. But if you have a coach and if they're good in the sport, they'll lead you along the path. So this stage is great. Competition is great, guys, but just understand what you're heading into is it's pretty tough sometimes, all the time. It's every show is tough, and the better shape you're in, the tougher it has been to get there. So just consider your expectations and what you want to do, and then strap on your shoes, strut your stuff, because every woman on stage is a winner in my book, because I know what it takes to get there. Okay, you guys, be well. Ciao.